I'm here with Fernando Ramirez, the Managing Director of Hydraloop. Fernando, when I look at what Hydraloop is doing, it's very exciting to be able to spend some time with you and get caught up.
Appreciate the opportunity, Frank. Hope all is well.
So with that, why don't you give us a little background on Hydraloop?
Sure. So the company is a Dutch company from the Netherlands that's been in business since 2015. Great success in the development and creation of a gray water recycling system. Significant installations in Europe, and now we're in the US market. So we arrived in the US last year. We're expanding rapidly. As sure you and your audience knows, water has become quite the topic of conversation, in not only in the US, but globally.
Yes.
So it's in the news, but we are now anxious to get our installations, our program, our implementations going, mostly in Western states. So we're really advancing our mission in the United States very strategically, certain states, but we're getting a lot of attention from the public, regulators, legislators, and anyone that's interested in water conservation initiatives.
So great. So on the Hydraloop website, your founder says it's absurd that in the 21st century, people keep flushing their toilets with precious water, and it's becoming scarcer every day. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and how Hydraloop impacts that?
Absolutely. So yeah, Arthur, our founder, had this challenge that literally kept him up at night. How do we solve this water issue? And it's bizarre in today's environment that we are throwing water away every day. We all do it. I do it, you do it, our families, everybody throws water away every day. Freshwater resources being thrown away. So the thought was, by creating a system that is designed to purify water for secondary uses. So use water twice is our logo. The idea is to take what we call gray water, which is lightly contaminated water, shower, bathtub, air conditioning, condensation. Take that water, put it through our system. Our system is designed with no filters, no membranes, no chemicals. So the technology allows for that water to be NSF 350 certified. So it speaks to the purity of the water. Then that water can be used to flush toilets, drip irrigation, top off pools, therefore avoiding this use of fresh water for those type of uses.
So I know you're getting to your first installations in the US, but could you talk about some of the, I know you're installed in other parts of the world. Could you talk about maybe one or two customers and the kind of impact Hydraloop has had on their business, their building, their apartment complex, whatever it is?
Sure. So right now we are, our systems are being distributed through channel partners. So several of our partners, interestingly enough, have come from the solar industry, from the energy space. And in an effort to impact homes and buildings with sustainability initiatives, energy obviously has led the way for many years, but water has really gained a prominent role in those discussions as well. So our partners are buying systems that they're going to be installing at their customers with the intent that we will be able to reduce their water consumption by up to 45% of freshwater use. And that's meaningful. Once we get to magnitude and scale, that's a lot of gallons of water that we will be saving on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So yes, that has the attention of the industry. It also has an impact on the waters being returned through the sewer system. As you know, treating water and putting it through a sewer system is very expensive. It's energy intensive. So many cities are also struggling with how do you manage the amount of water that goes back to the system. So customers that have signed up with us today are really looking at the idea of how do we save water, but also save sewer systems. So the reduction, the environmental impact, they're looking to save thousands of gallons on an annual basis. And we'll have a lot more of that information as our installations get going here this quarter.
Great. So you've been doing this for a while, and you come, if I remember correctly, you come out of solar. At one point, you were a solar entrepreneur. So what motivates you every day? What gets you up? What gets you fired up every day with Hydraloop?
So you're right. I come from the energy space. I spent 25 years in the energy industry, and I saw the impact of solar power, renewable energy, 20, 25 years ago. And the water industry has the same trajectory, right? We need to adapt. We need to accelerate. The technology is here. The innovation is available, but we really need to encourage all the ecosystem within water to embrace technology at a rapid pace. You and I have shared several conversations on this, Frank. Regulation doesn't always keep up with innovation. That was certainly the case on the renewable industry. It's the case here in the water industry. So we have an opportunity here to empower every homeowner, every business to be part of the solution on a daily basis. That's exciting. That gets me up in the morning with a mission. That's the mission. How do we make every drop count? How do we use water twice? And that can have an impact in our lifetime to see progress that will benefit our children and our children's children.
True, very, very true. So in the brief time, not really, I guess a year or so that you've been with Hydraloop, what kind of pleasant surprises have you encountered?
So it's very interesting to see the level of engagement from the grassroots movement, the actual consumer, right? We get calls every week from people all over the country asking for a Hydraloop system. They are so enamored, intrigued, and convinced of the mission of the company, mission of the system. They want to have a system in their house. They want to conserve water. It's so incredibly fascinating to see how people are looking and anxious to do the right things. Some of those are delayed due to regulation, but it's extremely encouraging how many people in the country and globally are really looking on a daily basis to do the right water conservation initiatives, to really reduce water consumption, to impact the use of water at their homes. And that movement is rapidly expanding, and it will continue to do so over the next 5 to 10 years.
Do you think, just off the cuff here, do you think that is crisis driven? You know, a lot of your interest is out of the West, as you said. Do you think it's crisis driven, or is it just people wanting to do the right thing?
I think it's a combination. There's certainly the sustainability and environmental movement is part of the core conversations at a domestic and commercial level. Yeah. So that there is a primary driver to do what's right. And we understand clearly there's also a financial economics component to this. And what a lot of the progressive folks that we talk to are identifying, and they're correct, the price of water is going to slowly and steadily escalate north in the next couple of years. It has already in several states. Look at New Mexico as an example, right? They have a tier schedule. So the economics are rapidly going to cause a much more rapid expansion in the adoption of this kind of technology. But at the grassroots is companies and individuals that are looking forward, not waiting for this to really damage their budget or damage their financials.
That's good. So you've established a partnership with Global Waterworks. There's plenty of organizations out there. What do you see? Why Global Waterworks? How does it work for you?
So I think the opportunity in the platform that Global Waterworks brings to the market allows for this expansion of the water ecosystem, right? Part of what I think we all believe in, and part of our conversations in the past, is education drives a lot of activity. We need to educate the market. We need to share more stories. We need to applaud the early adapters and encourage the faster trajectory of this kind of technology. And I think Global Waterworks platform gives us that opportunity. We're meeting a lot of the people that are in the industry. Well, we all understand the challenges, but as a group, collectively, we can deliver a message of education a lot faster than we as individuals.
Thank you. So back to Hydraloop, where do you see things going over the next year to 18 months, maybe even 3 years? What's the trajectory?
So as we develop the footprint here in the US and globally, we're in other parts of the world as well. But here in the US, we really see legislation picking up the pace. An example is Florida, with Senate Bill 64 was just signed by the governor in July 1st of this year, which is specifically mentioning the adoption of gray water recycling systems. So legislation is going to pick up the pace. We see the commercial space being very active for us in the coming years because of, think of sports clubs, hospitality, laundromats, any water intensive, universities, dorms, colleges. So the market is preparing for those kinds of solutions in a much more aggressive way. So our path over the next 3 years is a rapid expansion, scaling up to maintain the business with our channel partners, and really continue to engage with this education component that's mission critical to everything that we all do.
So as we wrap up here, if there were, one or two sentences that you'd want everybody to remember about Hydraloop, what would that be?
There's an abundance of technology in the marketplace today that can solve many of our challenges. Hydraloop brings a solution that empowers individuals and business to take advantage of that technology today. Let's not wait too long to make sure that we are saving every drop, that we are making use of water twice.
That's great. Fernando, this has been a great time. Thank you so much for taking time to do this with us. And we look forward to talking in the future.
Always a pleasure, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you.